Alabama isn't just a place, it's a memory that refuses to fade. From the red clay roads to the collapsing porches of forgotten homes, something lingers here. You can feel it in the silence after sundown, in the way the trees seem to lean closer, in the rooms where no one speaks above a whisper. Generations have come and gone, but the past still walks beside the living. Some say it's just folklore. Others have seen too much to laugh. These aren't just haunted houses. They're wounds in time still open, still bleeding into the present. Here are 10 haunted places in Alabama where the spirits haven't left, and maybe never will. 1. Sloss Furnaces, Birmingham. From the red clay roads to the collapsing porches of forgotten homes, something lingers here. You can feel it in the silence after sundown, in the way the trees seem to lean closer, in the rooms where no one speaks above a whisper. Built in the late 1800s, Sloss was a brutal place to work. Men toiled day and night in sweltering heat, surrounded by molten metal and choking smoke. Accidents were common. Deaths were frequent. One foreman, James Slag Wormwood, was known for pushing his workers too far. Legend says he died after falling into a vat of molten iron. Others say he was pushed. Since the plant closed in the 1970s, strange things have happened here. Security guards report hearing footsteps echoing on catwalks that should be empty. Some say they've seen shadowy figures near the blast furnaces moving with purpose, then vanishing into the steel. One man claims he was shoved so hard he fell down a flight of stairs only to find no one around. Others have heard screams, brief, sharp, and unmistakably human, rising from the tunnels below. Ghost hunters, thrill seekers, even skeptics have walked through Sloss and come out changed. Not because of what they saw, but because of what they felt. That someone or something is still working, still watching, still waiting for the next shift to begin. And when night falls, the furnaces seem to breathe. 2. Gaines Ridge Dinner Club, Camden. At first glance, the Gaines Ridge Dinner Club looks like a classic Southern gem, a white columned antebellum home nestled among oak trees draped in Spanish moss. The kind of place you'd stop for catfish and cornbread, but stay long enough, and the air changes. Built in the 1820s, this home has seen generations come and go. Some of them, perhaps, never really left. Today, it serves as a restaurant. Diners come for the food, but often leave with questions they didn't expect to ask. Staff members speak of a woman's voice echoing from empty rooms crying softly, or calling a name no one recognizes. The scent of jasmine perfume will sometimes drift through the hallways, even when no guests are near. Lights flicker, even on calm nights, and doors, once firmly latched, swing open as if someone just walked in. One guest swore she saw a figure in black at the top of the staircase, pale hands resting on the banister. But when she looked again, it was gone. Another heard footsteps directly behind her on the porch, even though no one was there. The wood still creaked under the weight of something. They say a tragic love story haunts the home. Others whisper of older things, family secrets, blood debts, and promises made in the dark. Gaines Ridge is still very much alive, but not everything inside is from this century. 3. Old Kahaba, Dallas County. There's a stillness in Old Kahaba that feels unnatural. Once Alabama's first state capital, The town thrived in the early 1800s until it didn't. Floods, war, and time turned it into a ghost town. What's left are crumbling bricks, leaning chimneys, and whispers carried on the wind. But people say the town isn't empty. These aren't just haunted houses. They're wounds in time still open, still bleeding into the present. Some have seen a woman in white standing at the edge of the Alabama River, her dress fluttering though there's no breeze. Others speak of a Confederate soldier who appears briefly, rifle slung over his shoulder, then disappears through a brick wall that shouldn't be there. One man claimed he heard an entire dinner party happening inside the ruins of an old home, clinking glasses, laughter, piano music. But when he approached, there was nothing but vines and dust. Old Kahaba was meant to be forgotten, but the dead here refused to fade quietly. 4. The Drish House. Tuscaloosa. The Drish House stands tall and quiet at the edge of Tuscaloosa, its white columns casting long, eerie shadows on the lawn. Built in the 1830s, it was once a grand plantation home, but its story is one of obsession, grief, and restless spirits. John Drish was a wealthy man, but also a troubled one. After years of erratic behavior, he died suddenly, some say under strange circumstances. His wife Sarah, devastated by the loss, became obsessed with the idea of his funeral. She saved the candles used at his wake, insisting they be lit again when she died. But when her time came, the candles were nowhere to be found. And that, they say, is why she never left. To this day, neighbors and passers-by report seeing strange flickering lights in the tower, despite no electricity inside. Some say it looks like a fire. Others like candlelight dancing behind the windows. But when fire crews arrive, the house is empty, silent, and cold. People walking by late at night have heard a woman's voice calling out, not screaming, just calling. And those who've entered the house speak of sudden chills, footsteps on stairs that lead nowhere, and the unshakable sense that they are not alone. The house has changed hands many times, but no one stays for long, because Sarah Drish is still waiting for her candles, for peace, or for someone to finally listen. 5. Huntington College. The Red Lady, Montgomery. At Huntington College, the story of the Red Lady is not just a ghost story, it's a warning. Decades ago, a young woman named Martha moved into the all-girls dormitory known as Pratt Hall. She was different, quiet, distant, always dressed in red. Her room, too, was completely red curtains, red bedspread, red lamplight. Other students tried to befriend her, but she never warmed to them. The loneliness clung to her like fog. One night, she simply disappeared. When they found her, it was too late. The details are murky, deliberately kept vague, but soon after, the sightings began. Students in Pratt Hall have woken up to see a red glow at the end of their beds. Some report seeing a woman in a long crimson gown drifting through the halls. She doesn't speak. Her face is always turned away. And when you look again, she's gone. Lights flicker red, doors creak open in the middle of the night, and one girl, years later, swore she heard whispering in her ear as she slept. Don't be alone. Every year, new students hear the legend. Some laugh it off. Others start sleeping with the light on by October. Because once you've seen the Red Lady, you don't forget her. And she never forgets you. 6. Fort Morgan, Gulf Shores. Where the ocean meets Alabama's edge stands Fort Morgan, a stone fortress built in the early 1800s, now crumbling beneath the weight of its history. Surrounded by salt air and shifting tides, it looks peaceful. But peace has never truly settled here. During the Civil War, Fort Morgan saw one of the most brutal naval battles in U.S. history, the Battle of Mobile Bay. Blood soaked the sand, screams were swallowed by cannon fire, and according to those who visit, the echoes still haven't faded. Visitors describe hearing the clanking of chains and shouted commands in the dead of night. Some have seen figures in Civil War uniforms pacing the walls, only to vanish into stone. The fort's darkest corner, the old prison cell, is where most of the activity is reported. A chill lives there year-round. Shadows move along the walls, even when the sun is bright overhead. One tourist claimed she saw a man through a narrow window, expression blank, eyes sunken, staring directly at her. But when she turned the corner, the cell was locked and empty. Some believe the spirits of soldiers still stand watch, unwilling to abandon their post. Others say the trauma left behind has soaked into the bricks, pulsing quietly beneath every step. At Fort Morgan, the war never really ended. 7. Maple Hill Cemetery Tunnels, Huntsville. Maple Hill Cemetery is the oldest and largest in Alabama, home to thousands of graves, generations of stories, and something far stranger beneath its surface. Hidden in a corner of the cemetery is a small, unassuming playground known as Dead Children's Playground. At first glance, it seems innocent rusty swings, scattered toys, quiet shade from the trees. But after dark, everything changes. Locals claim to hear laughter, children's laughter echoing through the trees after midnight. Swings move on their own, even on windless nights. And worse, some say they've seen small figures darting between the headstones, too fast to follow, too real to ignore. The nearby tunnels beneath the cemetery add to the mystery. No one knows exactly why they were built, but some believe they were once used to store bodies during epidemics. Inside, the air is thick and still. Electronics fail, compasses spin, and the deeper you go, the more lost you feel. One investigator described hearing a voice say, "Come play with us," before his flashlight exploded in his hand. No one knows what draws the spirits of children here, or if they're even children at all. 8. Sweetwater Mansion, Florence. Built in 1835 by General John Brahan, the Sweetwater Mansion was meant to symbolize wealth and legacy. Instead, it became a house of sorrow. The walls have seen grief, the early deaths of children, the toll of the Civil War, and endless mourning. Some say the tragedies soaked into the very floorboards, and that's why the house still weeps. Caretakers have found mirrors fogged up from the inside, with handprints too small for any living adult. A heavy door once slammed shut so hard, the glass shattered, even though no wind stirred and no one else was home. One chilling tale involves a room that's kept locked at all times. Inside, people report hearing sobbing, scratching on the walls, and, occasionally, a man's voice praying in whispers. Visitors have seen a boy standing at the top of the stairs, looking lost. When they speak to him, he turns only to vanish. One woman claimed she entered a room and saw a funeral, in progress a coffin, mourners in black. Then, in a blink, it was gone. The Sweetwater Mansion has stood for nearly 200 years, and some say its family never really moved out. 9. Ghost Bridge, Sheffield. Locals don't call it by its real name anymore. To them, it's just Ghost Bridge, a crumbling steel structure hidden in the woods outside Sheffield, long since closed to traffic, but never closed to something else. The bridge carries a dark legend. Some say a man was lynched there in the early 1900s. Others whisper about a car accident that sent a family plunging into the river below, their screams swallowed by the dark. Whatever the truth is, no one leaves the bridge without feeling changed. Visitors who walk the span at night report hearing footsteps trailing behind them, measured, deliberate, always just a few paces back. Turn around, and there's nothing. But the steps never stop. Phones die without warning. Flashlights flicker out. One man said he saw handprints appear in the dew on his car windshield from the inside. More than one person has claimed to see a woman in white standing at the far end of the bridge. She never moves. She never speaks. But if you blink, she's suddenly closer. Locals warn, don't go alone. And if you hear your name whispered by the river, don't answer. It might not be a voice from this world. 10. Bear Creek Swamp, Prattville. Deep in central Alabama, where trees twist like claws and the fog settles low, lies Bear Creek Swamp, a place where even the birds fall silent. It's said to be cursed land, the kind of place where compasses spin, headlights dim, and the air grows thick enough to choke. For generations, stories have poured from this swamp of creatures that crawl just beneath the waterline, of voices that call your name from the thickets, of eyes that glow red before vanishing into the brush. In 2014, something strange happened. Authorities found dozens of porcelain dolls tied to trees, deep in the swamp, some with their eyes gouged out, others hanging by string. No one ever came forward to explain it. Campers tell stories of hearing children laughing, even when no children are around. A hiker once claimed he turned around and saw a man with no face standing in ankle-deep water, pointing. He ran and never returned. Bear Creek doesn't welcome strangers, and those who go in alone sometimes come back with eyes that never quite focus the same way again. Alabama's ghosts are not hidden in the shadows, they live in plain sight, in homes passed down for generations, in fields where no one should be walking, in bridges and swamps where the past breathes just beneath the surface. Some spirits are mournful, others are angry, but all of them are waiting. Which of these haunted places would you dare to explore? Or better yet, which one do you think is still watching you now?